Hey everyone, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I'm the host Josiah, aka Mahler67, and with me, as always, I got my buddy, I got my pal, my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good today. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Just coping with the fact I have to go back to work tomorrow. After being off for 2 weeks. Last week we didn't do the podcast, mainly because it was 100% because I was out in Connecticut for my little VTM game, and then after that all happened, we had to drive 8 hours back home, and that was pretty terrible. We even left like early in the morning, like 9ish, maybe 10ish.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't get home till like 7:45, and by then I'm like, I'm worn out, I'm tired, I want to sleep, I can't really focus because we talked the whole time, interacted, and it wore me out, like socially is the best way to say.
I get you.
But yeah, like other than that, it was good 2 weeks of me being off outside of being in Connecticut, which I was wrong. I thought I said Massachusetts or something like that. It was Connecticut where we were going to. Connecticut.
Boston.
Connecticut. Connecticut.
Massachusetts.
Connecticut.
Austin.
Connecticut.
Massachusetts.
Connecticut. Yeah, I know. I get the reference. It would work better if I actually went there, but no, I went to Connecticut. Yeah, so Connecticut. It was fun. It was a good time. I had fun. A lot of things happened. A lot of things didn't happen. Some people were upset about that, and other people expected more to happen to them as if they were main characters. But what can you do? Like when you're playing a giant LARP that has like over like hundreds of people playing, you can't be the center of attention, main character. So that's just how it works. That's how life goes. And then I came back home, and I've been playing a mix of Ninja Turtles Splinter Fate, Tower Factory, which is finally out, and freaking A, like, bless me. Anyways, it's just been good to just relax, play a bunch of games whenever I want, and then sleep. Immense amount of sleep. Man, do I love sleep. Sleep is the best thing in the world. I will say that until I die. And having a projector over your head so you can go to sleep to watching random VTubers that you've never seen before react to Gordon Ramsay on Hell's Kitchen is, that it's the high life. It's what we're meant to do. It's why we were placed upon this earth, to react to reacts of Gordon Ramsay. And that's been how my week has been, Austin. How about yours? Like, what have you done since we haven't talked in like 2 weeks, theoretically, podcast wise.
Yeah, theoretically. Yeah,
so what you been up to? Oh no, we play games all the time together.
Yeah. So this week, the last 2 weeks have been pretty nuts. We had when you were in Connecticut, we had a 1-year-old that we took care of, brought in for respite for a weekend. And I started noticing that he was playing with his ears a lot. And I was like, that sounds like to me that he has an ear infection or something. And, I was like, oh, that stinks. So we're not thinking of anything of it. And, we took care of the kid. He sat here and slept in this crib that we had right here. And I played Silent Hill all night, and he terrified me multiple times because I put my headphones on and I wasn't through the speaker. So like he would get up and he would touch me and then just to see if I'm there. And it terrified me twice. I was like, whoa, hey, what's up? It was pretty funny doing that. It was a lot of fun. And then he left. And then on Monday, I went into work and I was fine. Went in Tuesday and got halfway through my shift, and all of a sudden I got hit by like a Mack truck, and it was just like I was sick. Like I just couldn't keep my eyes open. It was like bad. And I looked at my boss and she was like, you don't look too good. And I was like, I need to go home. And she's like, oh, I see, you're sick. So so I went home, went home sick, and I came home and I slept for a good like 10 hours. And then I got up.
Sleep is the best thing ever.
Yep. Started watching some more TV. We got the projector in the room now, so I just sat in here and slept and just, and like I knew it was all like nasal stuff, like, and the worst part about that is if you lay flat, all the phlegm goes to your lungs and then you got to cough all that up. So for 2.5 days, I slept like sitting up, so my sinuses would like drain. So I didn't have the cough. Like I have the cough still, but it's not as much phlegm as like I would usually have, where it's like, and it would be this dry cough trying to get all this phlegm up.
Yeah.
And so, about, I was one day in, I was like, oh man, I don't want to miss any more work. I'll go back in tomorrow. And I didn't expect to like, message, and say, hey, I'm not coming into work. And I woke up and I was like really tired. I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was like, I've been sleeping for 12 hours. Like I must be sick still. And I was like, I'm just gonna message here. So it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I email my boss because that's how we communicate. We email, and so like I like emailed, and then I woke up at 8, and I got a message like, okay, yep, we got you out, thanks. And I was like, oh, okay. And I looked at the email I sent her, and it went, I'm not no work. I was so tired trying to message her that I just was like, me no work. And so I messaged her back. I was like, hey, I was really tired. I'm sick. Like, she was like, I totally get it. I've had like those fever dreams, like fever messages. I was like, yeah. So, and then I went into work. Been, just been working most of this week. Cause last week we really didn't do too much except for the foster care child. But yeah, and then I've been playing like games with you, finishing up Silent Hill Part 2, and just pretty much that. I haven't really done too much. Been watching a lot of TV. Me and my wife are really hooked on a show called Abbott Elementary, which is really, really funny. They just announced that they're doing a crossover episode with Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh no.
Because they're both based in Always Sunny, but so Abbott Elementary is on ABC, which is like, Fox. I mean, that's like Hulu, ABC. They're kind of the same gist. But ABC is like, there's like censorship there, like, because they base themselves on like other, like network TV.
Okay.
So Always Sunny, they announced that they were doing that, and I was like, how is that gonna work? Because like, I get it. They're saying they're from Philly. Some of them are pretty awful people sometimes, but it's more of like people are trying to overachieve, because the show's about like these teachers that are like trying to overachieve in a school district that is not like, they're poor. Like it's a poor school district, so like, there's like a lot of comedy there. I'm sorry. So yeah, we've been watching that. So that's pretty much all we've been doing, is like sitting here watching that. And then we finally have a foster child that we're doing respite for, where we do 3 days a week now for this whole month.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do it for a while and see how that goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh man.
I mean, that sounds pretty cool, Austin. Pretty good stuff. Sorry that you got sick, but at the same time, joke's on you. Ha ha ha. Sucks to suck. But Austin, speaking of sucking, Austin, this week we watched Legends of Vox Machina. I love for people to come at me and take that out of context, like, "Ooh, you saying Vox Machina sucked?" No, I thought it was good. But Austin, what did you think of Legends of Vox Machina season 3?
So I will say this. You can tell, it's starting to get that D&D campaign thing. Like how I just feel that way. A lot of other people are gonna love it because it is just how it is. But like, there's a lot of plot points that like I kind of got coming. Like I guessed a lot more than what before. Because like the number one thing that like I saw this season, where I was like, oh man, they killed this guy. And in the back of my head, I was like, he's a main character. I don't think he's gonna last that long. So
you're like, he's gonna come back type deal thing.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Percy. I knew Percy was coming back. I was like, he's like a character. Like those characters are very famous, and I was like, it'd be kind of hard to like, especially with a D&D format, like getting rid of a main character unless they're going to play a new character, which, that would have been cool. But Percy, I knew was going to come back. I was like, there's too much left on the table for that. There was a couple things that I was a little not really okay with. Like, I was like, it's okay. But overall, this is still good. This is still a good show. Like, I really enjoyed a lot of the aspects of the show. I enjoyed some of it was very adventurous, how I liked it before. It hit a lot of key points of between being hilarious and being, very emotional and being passionate towards people, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And it was really sad because this is Lance Riddick, his last show he's ever done. So, it was kind of rough. And they did In a Memory on the first episode, because I think he only did one more episode after that, and then he passed away. So
yeah, because he was Thordak, right?
Yeah, he was Thordak. He's really known for like the John Wick movies and stuff.
Yeah. I know he's known for a lot of things. I just remember whenever he passed, I looked at him and I'm just like, what would I know him from? And I looked up and it's like, he's Thordak. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I know that for a lot of people, they were kind of like, they also remembered him, I think, from Mass Effect or something like that. Destiny, that's it. Yeah, Destiny. He was like a big Destiny player.
Yeah, he was. He was really into Destiny, supposedly. What I've read about him. But yeah, it was kind of a bummer to see that. But it was really cool that they gave memory to him.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cool parts of the show that I really did like. And then, I'll talk later about like the things that I thought were a little.
Let's just get into it, because here's the thing, right? I liked the season a lot. Like, it was very enjoyable. You say the D&D thing, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
because it's always like, it's kind of like end of series Game of Thrones, like the last 2 seasons, where you're just like, well, Jon's gonna live, Daenerys is gonna live, Sansa's gonna live. Like, you can name the people who are the main characters at that point that you're like, they're going to live. So the question is, who's going to die and how are people going to be brought back to life? Because I haven't, so I only watched the D&D series, the live play that they did up to whenever the conclave like attacked the city that they were in that one time, like last season 2. So I have no context for anything. I just have knowledge of a single part of the live stream that happened that they took out of the season. Like, they changed it. They changed the story in this season. I only have that knowledge because like that was a big thing, and I looked up like, what the heck is this about? Like, why does this person act this way? And it's like, there's a whole story arcs. But yeah, no, like this season very much gave me that, like, yeah, they're fine. When it came to like Scantling getting like KO'd like he did, and it's like, oh, he ain't dead, so it's like, he'll be fine, he'll come back to life, whatever. When Percy got shot and died, I'm just like, they really heavily implied that anyone who gets killed by the guy is like, his soul is like locked by the one guy. I forget the freaking demon's name. Thoraxis or whatever. So I'm like, he's going to come back some way. This is also D&D, so like the concept of like revivify and everything is still theoretically plausible. Though they haven't really tapped into that really at all in the 3 seasons. The only death that actually kind of shook me a little bit was the one guy from season 1. I think it's season 1 or season 2. Whenever they helped with the Kesh, because that's the voice of Ron Stoppable. And the second he starts talking, I'm like, hey, Ron Stoppable, I love this guy. And then he gets up, he's like, hey, and he's just absolutely crushed. And he's not dead though. No, he's dead, because he actually died, and then he turns to the Raven Queen and he goes with her. Unlike everyone else, when they die, anyone else who died in the series, he actively went to her. So I'm like, I think he's permanently dead. The fact that they didn't revivify him was kind of funny to me. But yeah, no, he got destroyed. And I also kind of laughed at the, oh no, Thordak sealed the entry. oh, he went and he's now massacring all our friends. And it's like, man, you guys really messed up here, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, it's not your guys' fault. You didn't know he would seal that. You also didn't think about the idea of your caravan going through the front door. Like, the plans in this season seemed a little half-baked. And I think the concept was maybe because Percy wasn't there to like direct them, maybe.
Yeah.
Because after that point he was gone. But yeah, no, I completely understand your thought process. I never felt like anyone was actually in moral like danger.
No.
And the whole like death of Percy, while sad, I didn't have any type of fear that he would not come back. Even whenever Keelik was doing her like earth elemental thing, and she was like having the whole like she has to fight it. This, I'm like, she'll be fine. She'll freaking get like some power from this. Like it's whatever. And sure enough, boom, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. See, like I feel like also too is like that part with Keelik. I really wish that they would have just let it sit for a couple days, where like people thought she was dead for like 2 days, and then she actually like grows into something, like grows into that thing or whatever.
I was fine with how it was done, because like I don't want it to be another thing like Final Fantasy 3 or no Final Fantasy 4, I think it is, where everyone was just jumping off the boat to kill themselves for someone, and then you would find them 5 minutes later, and it's just like, Sid, how, like Sid's like, oh no, they're going to get to us. I'm going to jump off into this lava pit with bombs to blow it up to seal the thing. Oh, okay. Hey, 10 minutes, what is it, like 3 hours down the line, you find a bunch of dwarves. Guess who's there? Sid. He doesn't remember anything. He's KO'd on the ground, but he's alive. How he survived a freaking nuclear blast into lava pit, don't ask. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I don't know, this is a pet peeve. Maybe you could like call me out on this, but I literally thought, I just felt like there was a problem, like a little small problem with how dragons' powers were in a way.
Okay.
The reasoning why is because, you know, like the first like couple episodes we saw, like, you know, them take on that ice dragon.
Well, they tried to.
They tried to, and then like the demon comes out and like fights the ice dragon, and then the ice dragon wins, and then they end up killing the ice dragon, like Keyleth and, you know, Vex, you know, with the arrow. It took a long time, and it was like they constantly like wanted to show this power level of like, these dragons are ridiculous. Like,
well, no, so only one dragon was ridiculous. That was the issue. It was Thordak was ridiculous. The other ones were just like dragons, which were still like nothing to warn. The issue that you can be put at with the show, right, especially this season, is that like the group lucks out a lot.
Yeah.
Like they're lucky that that demon followed them out of hell.
Yeah.
And that the demon decided to murder the dragon instead of going after them. They're lucky that the demon ripped out its tongue so it could no longer use its breath attack, or they're lucky that it did damage enough that they could kill it. You know, it did the mortal wound to it so that way the arrow could get to the heart. When it comes to Thordak, right, it's like the only reason why they're able to beat him is 100% because of the vestiges they have.
Yeah.
The issue is Thordak is super evil and potent to everyone except the team. Like, you see him massacre people left and right, but when it comes to the team, he never like hits them once. Like, he never gets like a good solid hit off on any of them. Except I guess Stantlin, but even him is like, he's alive, but not doesn't want to wake up because he's so lonely. And then like it all comes down to like the vestiges basically being MacGuffins of just like, not MacGuffins, but Chekhov's gun to be like, oh, Pike needed to believe in herself, not God, or whatever she did. And then she like nuked him back and killed him. Which was like fine. I guess that's what they were working that up the whole time. With the whole like, she can't control it, she has to find a way to control it, do all this stuff. And then they just instantly throw that all out the door whenever I think it's supposed to be like a Draco Lich is what they were finding, because it was like, it's Thordak, it's Rashawn in Thordak's body, but she's dead, so it's like he's undead Lynch. I assume it's a Draco Lynch or some form of Lynch like thing. And
It
she's
looks
like,
he's
you
loose.
can't hurt me. Those vestiges don't do anything against me. Haha, you idiots. And it's just like, why not though?
Yeah, there was no explanation on that. I actually said the same thing. It's like, well, that doesn't make sense to me, unless like there's something that involves like her not being like.
I assume it has something to do with the crystal that's inside Thordak is the reason why like those things are strong against that crystal. Now that the crystal's been destroyed, they're not strong against that. But whenever they were explaining the different vestiges, they didn't express that, right? Like Grog's thunder gloves still to me seem like they should be effective. The plate was specifically spoke about like the fire from dragons being blasted or whatnot. So maybe because she wasn't shooting fire, that's not how they worked. But I don't know. It's whatever. We still got to see a pretty epic fight with the undead dragon thing at the end. I was just it did make me laugh. We mentioned this before about the D&D thing. The oh no, not again scenario of this whole season. It's literally every time they go off to do something, they come back and the city's destroyed. And they're like, oh no, not again. Leave, come back. Oh no, not again. Like over and over. Like Whiterun has been massacred 5 times by now, and like 3 other cities have been burned down. And then like how I get whenever you're playing a D&D campaign and you're going like months and months of playing to move the progression so much, those like coming back and seeing things being like attacked or destroyed are more impactful. But when you see it in like a single season of coming back to Whiterun and like 4 times over it has been like one time by dragons, one time's probably like darkness. It's like there's no population here left. Stop sending them. Like, what are you doing?
See,
It was making me laugh.
There was a part of this season that I thought was going to be stupid. I was like, yep, if they're gonna do it, this is gonna be dumb, and I'm gonna call it out. This is gonna be it will ruin this part. So the part where like Fox and Vex, or
Vex and Vax
and Vax, I don't like that boss. Where they go and like infiltrate the ship that Percy's like sister is on.
No.
Percy's friend.
That's the person who kills Percy.
Yeah. So, what was really funny is like when they were like the boat was going away, I was like, no, do not tell me that they missed the boat because these two fly. I was like, that is gonna tick me off if they're like, oh, they got away. I was like, no, it's a sailboat, just fly over it. And then I saw them on their on the broom, and then with his wings, I was like, okay, we almost had a problem there for a second for me.
I mean, they could have explained it away real simple, being like, we can't fly in because they have pepper boxes, and we're literally like birds in the air.
Yeah,
we would be shot down so quickly. Like that would make sense.
They hallucinated that there was a lot of fog. So
I know. But what I was saying, like, like that could be the easiest explanation why they can't fly after.
That's what I'm saying. Like after that, I was like, really, there's no explanation that they should not be able to. But the other thing that I was really upset about with that, there's the scene where she like shoots the barrels, like the gunpowder barrels, and I was like, if you shoot something like that on a ship like that, it just ignites the whole ship. There is no like saving it. So it didn't make sense that like she does that and then she starts offloading all the other weapons. I'm like, where
those weapons are probably on fire, all that.
Yeah, or where did Vex and them go? Because they just stopped, like let you load those weapons onto the boats and just stopped. Was like, hey, let them load the weapons on the boat because
it'll make it easier to kill them.
It didn't make sense to me. It just didn't make sense to me. I was like,
the one thing I did like about that though is how Vax, or the female of the twins, it's Vax or Vex, I don't know which one it is. They had like these shirts during the stream where it's like, I'm Vax, that's Vax, and they wore them. Did not help at all. I don't understand them at all. Like I understand one's female, one's the male twin, and that's great. The female twin, how like whenever the one woman was going to like do it seemed like they were going to fall into the same situation that Percy was in, where she was going to talk a little bit and then was going to like catch off guard shot, and then she just opens her mouth and an arrow goes straight through her mouth. Like I was like, dang right. I appreciate that.
Well, see,
I like that.
But that's the thing that a lot of people that I did like. I did like that, and the reason why I like that is because there's a lot of shows that just be like, I'm going to show this person mercy, and then of course they like you be like, you shouldn't have done that, So it was just like a straight kill, like it was like vengeance, and that's what she wanted. It showed like true emotion that she's lost Percy, and she doesn't care that that person's going to like live. She was like, nope, we're just doing this. So like when that happens, I was like, well, that makes 100% sense, because most people, if someone would do that to their loved one, they're not gonna be like, I'm gonna show mercy to them. It's like, no, I'm gonna kill this girl. Like, so
Yeah, the only time someone's like says like I'm going to show them mercy kind of level thing is whenever it's to the extent of like, oh, we used to have something back in the day, and that's that.
One, but it says 8.
So it's just what it is, That's just how it kind of works. But I was fine with that.
1 sec.
Austin had to go off and do husband duty to talk.
Well, no, it's just I'm med certified, so I can give medication to kids. Well, this kid takes medication, and so it was like she can give it to her, but she's like, I don't understand. Like, this bottle says 8 p.m. and 8 p.m., but it's the same med. And I was like, look at the doses: 2 milligrams and 1 milligram. So she takes 3 milligrams. So she takes one of these and one of these. And she was like, oh, okay. Because I was like, I totally felt the same way last time when we had her. We had to give her meds, and like I was like, wait a minute, this is the same. And then I was like, but this is the same. I was like, because in my field, if I got the bottles like that, in my in the field that I was in with disability people, I couldn't give them med. I would have to air it, because I'd be like, no, this MAR is wrong, and if I state that I gave them that med, and that's not coming from the label from that bottle, I can get into a trouble. You can get into a lawsuit. So I was like, you would always do this thing called an error, and you would like write like a whole thing about it, and then you have to call the pharmacy and be like, hey, this is wrong, and they'd be like, oh, here, let's send over the right paperwork for it. And I'm like, so, but when you're doing with kids, like when you're doing with like foster care, it's different. So like it's not they're like, no, you can do that way, and I'm like, okay, so that's why
they don't care about kids,
yeah.
I guess.
Oh yeah, whatever.
But no, I read online, because after I watched it, I looked up like, hey, what was the deviations that they did in this season versus the show, everything, because that there was a point in the show after Scantling gets hurt, right? In the critical role, he actually dies, right? He gets killed, and they bring his daughter along with, I think it's Pike, to revive him, and he gets pissed at them all because it's like, you thought it was good to show my daughter my dead body, and he basically yells at them saying like, you guys don't care about me. And they're like, of course we care about her. He's like, what's my mom's name? Very important to my life. I care a lot about her. Killed by a goblin right in front of me. What's her name? And no one could answer. And he's just like, F you all, I'm going with my daughter. And he leaves for like a long time, staying with his daughter, and leaves. And that was like a very big, important role. They didn't do that in this show. And I know that some fans explained why it is. I don't quite understand why they did it. Apparently that was a very gripping like point. Because then he came back as a different character for a little while. And the character they brought in was like, people found him hilarious, but they missed Galen, was like the biggest thing. But yeah, that you have that. Yeah, it was weird to me to see how it kind of played out in this season. I got really annoyed at I want to say Kiki, because that's what freaking Vex calls her, or Vax calls her. Keelan, thank you. How she's like constantly like, I don't trust Rashawn. We can't trust her. Oh, she betrayed us. Like, I knew she was not to be trusted with, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, here, look. Whether or not you liked her, you trusted her or not, in the moment of you guys like finding all this stuff out thing, you had no other alternatives. It's not that she played you for fools. It's literally she gave you the best option at winning. That's not being played as fool. That's being like, hey, we're literally trading like our stage for a cage. But what else can we do in this situation? We kill this big guy and we hope that they're good. And if they're not good, we figure out the next step. And instead of her like viewing that way, or like viewing that like the objects they got were beneficial in any ways, she just viewed that I was right. We should have never trusted her. Let's not think about how we didn't have any of the other vestiges without her to begin with. Like, it was very annoying to me. And it was kind of, my brain, like when I was watching it, I'm just like, she's very self-centered and it's very annoying. Like, she thinks that no one listens to her. Meanwhile, there's the whole B cast of the main characters, like Scantlin, Percy, and Grog, who ain't doing jack in this season, outside of Scantlin being like, I want to see my daughter, and it's like, oh, you missed her, get back in there. Like, they ain't never asking Grog for mindset or, like, his feelings on things. He's just the comic relief. And she's over here being like, they don't trust me. It's like, no, they freaking trust you a lot. It's just they understood that there was no other option, and you refused to see it because you're just clouded with this hate for this individual. Even if you lucked out and she was evil, she still helped you out, you know? Like, you still have to make the deal with the devil to win against the army, and then you fight the devil. Like, it was very annoying to me that she was that way through the whole season. And, like, the overarching, like, theme of like the romance subplots of the two groups always made me like chuckle and laugh at how annoying. They're like all high schoolers with love. It's like, I'm too afraid to admit because I can't allow my emotions to get the best of me. Edgy, edgy lord. And then the other one's like, I can't become that close to him because I guess like I'll die or something like I'll eventually, like they'll all eventually die because I'm like this super old individual. Like, these are kind of dumb reasons to not care about people or try to like push people away. It's edgelord kind of like D&D character reasoning for stuff, which is fine. People can enjoy it. I'm sure they get better. Like, now that all that stuff is out of the way, I think I'll probably like their characters more. But like, I'll be honest, Keyleth's like Avatar wannabe mindset was really annoying to me at some points, but she at least came together and beat the crap out of that Lich Dragon, which was pretty cool. I'll give her that. Like, she did awesome there.
Yeah.
It was also funny to find out that it was her people who put the like curse on Rashawn, and it's like, oh yeah, hate perpetuate hates. That makes sense. Sorry, I ran there for a second. I had those feelings as I was watching it. Pretty frustrating to me. Because, yeah, I see a lot in, like, RPG games where you always have that one character who's like that. Like, I can't allow me to have happiness because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I know it's going to be resolved. You're going to see that that doesn't matter and that it's better to have loved and lost than loved at all, blah, 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 blah. But you would think 3 seasons you would be done with this after season 1. of all the like relationship stuff, right? And this is just me and you, right? All the relationship stuff, Scantlin's my favorite one to interact with, right? Because it's like the relationship between a father and a daughter, not the idea of like, oh, these two people love each other, but they have reasons why they can't love each other. It's literally like Scantlin, like, I never knew she existed and I would never want to be around her. And now that I know that she exists, I want to be around her. It's like, that's so much more impactful and meaningful that I want to watch that. But what can you do, man? What can you do? What can you do?
No.
So what? Anything you want? What else do you think about it, man? Like, you like it? You're...
I after saying a whole bunch of that stuff, I actually enjoyed it. I still loved it.
Yeah.
I think Grog did great. I love his one-liners, and I laughed so hard when like what was it? Wow, I totally get her name wrong all the time. She's the Ashley Johnson's character.
Pike.
Yeah, when they come through the portal and then they're like, you just hear Grog like
oh
crying.
yeah, he has to go to the restroom.
Like, I have to go pee.
You told me not to move. I like that he ragdolls Scantlin at that. Like when he chucks him, like it's ragdoll. But then when it cuts back to him, he's just sleeping normal. It's like, what the freak?
Yeah. No. And I thought the whole Scanlan like having his own little nightclub thing was a
Yeah, I
fun
like
little
that song. That was
episode.
a good song. Like it was a good beat.
Oh yeah.
I also
That was
laughed
solid.
at the whole interaction with Percy and Vex in the hot tub, and then when he
Oh.
leaves, the girl one comes up and is like, "Oh, I thought you would never leave." It's like, "How'd you hold your breath for that long? Let's see if you can top it." And I'm like, "Ooh." And then later,
Oh.
I love it whenever they're all like, it's so obvious that they're together. It's very annoying. And then Percy, not Percy, Pike is like, they have spoiled everywhere. The foosball table, this, and she starts naming off all these weird locations. Like that was funny to me. Like I like those little things. So,
But yeah,
yeah,
I really enjoy the series. Still.
yep.
Yeah.
I'm excited for next season of this. I'm also excited. They said that they're going to start doing the campaign season 2, which is the Mighty Nine, which I watched like listened to like I want to say 20 episodes of that before I fell off of that because I just can't do 4-hour podcasts of D&D long plays. I can do an hour each, but if they're not like broken up to be quick, I can't do it. That's why I'm such a big fan of Dimension 20, because they do like an hour to 2-hour chunks for each session. A Critical Role, like doing 80 some episodes for each season. I'm like, I don't have that. Nope. But after that long, I just want to like get a synopsis video and just walk out, you know. I can't do it. But to anyone else who enjoys it, good for you. I'm glad you like it. I think it's very enjoyable. I just don't have the brain capacity to do it. But okay, Austin, I think that basically covers it for this week of Vox Machina season 3. Really good show, really much enjoy it. Can't wait for the next season. I have no idea where they go. I don't know anything about the story after this one, so I have no context for what the heck happens. So we'll see. For all I know, nothing big happens, or they had the little like what you call it, the like teaser at the end with those worshippers of whatever he is. Whoever the heck that is, we'll find out that is next season. But Austin, next week we're gonna watch a show that you want to watch. It is called The Penguin. You said you wanted to watch it, so I'm like, okay.
Well, I just I wasn't a fan. So this is a spinoff of the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. Colin Farrell plays the Penguin, and supposedly like everyone that I've talked to about the show, they're like, it's really well done. So I was like, man, I might give it a shot. And then I was waiting for one person to get a hold of me and be like, hey, have you watched this? And I'm like, no, he still hasn't got a hold of me. So I'm going to watch it before he does. And then, I've been really excited. I forgot, we've been gone for so long, that they came out with a little teaser trailer for Daredevil. I'm really excited for that. So it's like, so I've been reading a lot about the Penguin, and a lot of people have been saying that it's really good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of reviews saying that it was good, but I haven't I don't know anything about it because I've never seen the Rob Pattinson Batman movie.
I'm okay with it. Like, you could take it or leave it with it. I thought Colin Farrell did great as Penguin in that movie. I just don't like how they portray the Joker in that movie. I think Robert Pattinson was fine as Batman. I just didn't feel like it was all these people were coming out. I was like, this is the best Batman movie ever. They always do that. Yeah. But I'm just like, no, I don't think it is. But the thing is like, I've heard nothing but good things about Penguin. So I'm like, well, I'll take a check out. Let's do it. I've watched maybe one episode so far, and I like it so far. So
I haven't watched any of it, but we'll see. All right, Austin. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you all so much for tuning in